In for more analysis, Nabeel Nowairah now. He's a research associate at the Gulf International Forum and joins us now from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much for joining us here on TRT World. So what do you make of the UN Secretary General's comments? First of all, the world cannot afford another confrontation.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is a very alarming incident. There were actually some hopes of some de-escalation efforts after the visit of the Japanese Prime Minister Abe to Iran and trying to mediate the ease of tensions between Iran and the U.S. I think this is a very considerable incident. I think it is important to understand the regional tensions as well. It's not clear as of this point who is the perpetrator of this incident, and also the incident of last month where 4 oil tankers were attacked. Now, there are different possible scenarios, and all these scenarios are kind of reasonable. Some suggest that Iran actually has threatened to disrupt international trade at the Strait of Hormuz, and it has the capability and the capacity to do so. However, also there are regional actors like Saudi Arabia and the UAE who are actually not willing for any kind of peace talks between Iran and the US. So it is actually a major incident, and we will see how this will affect any peace process or even negotiations between the US and Iran.
So, Nabeel, as you mentioned it, I mean, it already looked, the chances of brokering a deal looked slim even beforehand with the Japanese Prime Minister being there. So how likely do you see that now after these attacks?
I think it complicates the matter. And it is, I think, clear that the Iranians are not ready at the moment to negotiate with the U.S. Khamenei actually tweeted that he is not ready to give a reply to President Trump or the U.S. administration. I think also it is important to note Jawad Zarif's tweet today when he called again for regional dialogue. Last month, when he was in Baghdad, he called for a non-aggression pact with the regional neighbors. I think Iran at this point is interested in having a dialogue with the regional powers than with the U.S. And this is, I think, for one important reason. The first, in the U.S., there's democracy, you have the president, and you have the Congress. In 2013, President Obama succeeded in having the JCPOA signed by Iran and the U.S., but that was not ratified by the Congress. Now, after 5 years, President Trump withdrew from the agreement. Iran, I think, sees that it can get a better deal with the regional powers, especially that they are like, it's not unlikely to have changes in the regimes as frequent as is the case in the U.S. It's more of a democracy. But the regional powers, if you can have an agreement with them, then it can last for a longer time. And I think Iran thinks that it's also easier from the negotiation part. It takes maybe less time to negotiate a peace deal with the regional powers because everything is controlled by the top of the leadership in those countries. However, I don't think that the regional countries are interested. I mean, here I'm talking about specifically Saudi Arabia and the UAE are not interested in maybe at this point to get into negotiations with Iran because they view Iran as an existential threat.
Nabeel Nowairah, thank you very much for that insight.